Welcome to 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After. Let's judge together. This is season 5, episode 4. She's a wolfie. She's a wolfie. So we start out with Michael in Lagos. He's now 31 years old. Have to say that I do have a little soft spot for Michael. However, I feel like whenever I say I have a soft spot for someone, I end up being horribly disappointed. But I think Michael seems like a decent human being. I don't know. And look, is Angela the love of his life? No, but does he have a fondness for her, some kind of affection for her? Yes. He says that he really loves her strength and her boobs. And those are two true things. I like it that he says, I like how strong she is, and I like those huge boobs, because that's the truth. And he doesn't say, because she's so kind, because she's so beautiful. No, that's Soja Boy stuff. That's Soja Boy talking about baby girl Lisa. Oh, she's so beautiful, my beautiful American, fiance. Ugh.
Always lying to me. Oh my God, you lying so much. You making it hard for me.
Yeah, right. So, I buy that he definitely wants to come to America. Of course he does. Of course he's with her because he wants that dream to come to this country. Absolutely. But like I said, I do think there is some kind of real affection there between the two of them. So, we'll see. All right, so he talks to his mom and tells her about the visa situation, why Angela's going to go ahead and come and get married in Nigeria, because if the K1 visa fails, they can then go for a spousal visa. But again, I've mentioned this before, this whole thing is nonsense. It's actually beginning to annoy me because the only reason they're getting married is because they don't want to wait another few weeks to get the letter, which will explain if he's not being permitted to get a K1 visa. That letter will explain the exact specific reasons. This is like the final answer. And if those reasons are something so bad that he can't get the K1 visa, he won't be eligible for the spousal visa either. So the marriage is for the show. It's probably for Angela to go ahead and feel like she's connected to him. And Angela is not going to move to Nigeria because she's got those 6 grandkids, those 6 beautiful, amazing grandkids that, by the way, she's doing a wonderful job helping to raise. So that's not something that's a possibility. That's why there's a lot of this is a little bit annoying, but I know they want to film the wedding, I'm sure, on the show. And again, Angela's probably very eager to say that, he's not just my man, he's my husband. He goes to see Aunt Lydia, and his Aunt Lydia is someone very close to him. She seems relatively young, but she also seems wise. He values her opinion. So he talks about the whole situation with her, and I really do like Aunt Lydia. She's a straight shooter. She says, look, we have to look, you're not looking at the reality of children. You have to have kids. You're a Nigerian man. Is she going to be okay with you taking a second wife? In his culture and where he lives and in Lagos, you have to ask the first wife's permission before you can marry the second wife. And if it's a situation where the second wife is being taken on to bear a child, which does happen, because the first one either can't have children or is too old to have children, then the first wife will help raise the child. So the child will, have kind of 3 parents. And that first wife, which in this case would be Angela, would have a very, very strong role in raising that child. Okay, so if they're living in Nigeria, it's not the worst thing in the world. I've only had one friend who had 2 wives in Egypt, and he said it was a complete nightmare. It was the worst thing he ever did. But he kind of loved both of them, so he didn't want to get rid of either, but they just, basically it was nonstop war between the two wives. But I know that sometimes they actually do get along. However, she's never going to want to stay in Nigeria. She has to live in Georgia. She just got that house, which she's going to fix up and make nice, and you know, she's not going to leave those grandkids. No way. So Lydia says, you know, frankly, you need to find someone else. Of course, he's not going to listen to her, but she feels very comfortable in telling him strongly, you need to find someone else. But you know, there's more at stake here than, again, a nice Nigerian girl isn't going to open up the possibility of America for him. So there is that. All right, we get to enjoy more of the TLC 90 Day Fiance music studio, which has, I imagine, this little band of singers and keyboard players that write these stupid little 4-line intro songs for each segment. And they're always so funny. It's like, you can do it. You know, like if someone's going to the gym or they're getting in shape, like I think I said in another episode, push it to the limit. Or if it's, you know, if it's like Larissa going to get plastic surgery, you're on your own, girl, you're independent, you know, something like that. And the one that they picked for Coltee, I think was almost done sarcastically. It was like, yeah, you're the boss. You're the boss. Like, you know, like really kind of like hip hop. I'm all about it. Okay, so Colt springs Brazilian Jess on Deb. I love the way, first of all he says is that when I went to Chicago, I went there to see a girl. And Deb was like, really? So even before he even says, I mean, he could say, you know, it's a rich American girl who's going to move us all into her palatial mansion. What she so does not want him to be with anyone. She just wants him to live with her forever. And they can dress the cats in little outfits and decorate the house for Halloween and whatever holiday it is, and just live their best life together. I don't know. Then when she finds out Jess is from Brazil, she's like, really? You know, she really is starting to get, and she's like, this is another visa chaser. You know, does she want to come here and get her K1 visa? And in fact, Jess didn't say no to that. So there is a possibility, but Cole said he doesn't really know for sure if she even wants to come to America. Having said that, he then says, I might have to live in Brazil. And Deb says, over my dead body. Okay, Deb. Deb needs a boyfriend. Okay, I feel like Colt's legs at this point need to be marked NSFW and 18 and plus, 18 or older, because I feel like they're just kind of obscene. I don't want to see them. He's always wearing these shorts. His legs are prominently on display, and they're just all kinds of wrong.
Oh, that's not right. No.
Deb says, you know, she's going to do everything she can to protect Colt, which means hang on to him for dear life. Just strangle him, as a good mother should. Okay, Asuelu and Kalani. Oh God, my biggest disappointment to date. So they're telling, you know, Kalani's mom about the measles situation in Samoa, and Asuelu is just sitting there actively pouting. He's just like, we should go. And I love to travel so much, but I don't have children. And this is, he's thinking about, he so needs to see his family, to give them money and presents, and to hang with his bros, that he is like, no, the kids will be fine. Look, dude, measles in babies and young toddlers is really, it can be fatal. Oliver already has a vaccination. Kennedy does not. The doctor was willing to give Kennedy a vaccination even though Kennedy's only 6 months, but said there's a lot of side effects to giving a 6-month-old baby a vaccination. So, you know, what are you doing? You're gambling with you're gambling with your baby's life. Just wait. Wait 6 months. You know, just wait. And then even then, at a year, it's better for Kennedy to get a vaccine. A year is better than 6 months. So I'm just really, really annoyed with him, and I'm going to get much more annoyed. So we join Kalani, Asuelu, Kalani's mom, and the babies on the road to California to celebrate Oliver's birthday. And let me tell you, Asuelu is just being a nightmare. He's being completely passive-aggressive. You know, he's saying, I'm not the man of the house. You guys make the decisions without me. You know, Asuelu, in order to be the man of the house, first of all, you need to know how to act like a man and like a husband and like a father. Just, he's driving me crazy. Kalani's in the back seat. She's nursing one baby and soothing the other. I mean, she's nursing Kennedy and she's soothing Oliver to get him to calm down. Kalani says her back is hurting because she's twisting back and forth and sitting in the back seat, which is less comfortable, and asks Asuelu to please switch with her when they next stop. And Asuelu's like, no, I'm comfortable up here. And besides, because she just finally put Kennedy to sleep. No, when Kennedy wakes up, Kennedy will want a nurse, so you need to be there. So they stop somewhere and Kalani's like, get your ass in the back seat. So he sits in the back seat, says, look, I'm so good at this. Look at how easy it is. And, you know, then he starts talking about how American women have it so easy. They have all these machines to help them with their work. And yeah, they do. We have washing machines and dryers and dishwashers, but American women also, because life is so expensive here and we all have high expectations, American women also tend to work at least part-time and often full-time. So let's put together, you know, working to help make your house payment or your rent to live someplace nice and so your kids can go to decent schools, plus raising the children, plus cleaning the house and cooking. And that's not always the way it is. The guys will share in the work. But, you know, if you are in a family where for whatever reason the husband isn't really helping out, I would make the case that an American woman can have it harder because she's very likely to be working on top of everything else. And then if she has a husband who's not helpful, forget it. I mean, I know a couple women like that, and I'm like, I don't know how you do it. Kalani says, well, you don't help. You don't help me. And he calls her a lying bitch in front of Mama, in front of her mother. And then he tells her that her voice is so effing annoying. And I kind of love it because Kalani's mom says, you know what? I dare you to talk to my daughter like that in front of her father. And I do too, because there will be a whole can of whoop ass opened up. We've met Kalani's father. We know Kalani's father. He's a badass. He's full Samoan. He knows how to play. He knows how to fight, he knows how to intimidate, and he's going to know how to shame him. So I think that's exactly what Asuelu needs right now. Either that or get your ass back to Samoa, because he's verbally abusive on that whole trip out there. And at this point, I'm like, oh, I can't stand that. I hate verbal abuse. And I especially hate that kind of cold, passive-aggressive verbal abuse where it's not screaming, but it's just vicious anyway. Hate that. Okay, I mean, no one likes it. All right, now, Paul and Karine and Pierre. I'm basically just going to mention that the importance of this is that he's kind of proud to show her that, you know, look, in America we have cars. I think that this was probably enhanced for the show, but then again, it's Paul and he's so weird that Paul is so weird that I could see him having a car like that. And he says, you know, I worked out of it. Sometimes I slept in it. So he basically goes to show her the car. It's full of garbage. He says, oh, look at those nasty ass old French fries. So there's what, the fast food bags still in there? She's like, no, I'm not going near that. She's like, baby and I are not getting in that car. No, not until you seriously clean it and sterilize it. And then he makes a great comment, which made me want to slug him. Well, you lived in a wooden shack in Brazil. Yeah, and I mean, it doesn't seem like they were the most organized couple, or she was necessarily had OCD about keeping everything immaculately clean. But, you know, I can tell you, you don't like leave old food around in Brazil unless you want your house to be full of rats. You just don't, you know, so she was pretty disgusted. So good for her. She takes Pierre over to the front porch of his mother's house, which is where the car was. And she's like, okay, you clean it, I'll wait here. He can't get inside to get trash bags because mom and dad took the house keys off the car keys when they gave him the car keys because they don't want him rifling through their house. The guy's got a criminal background. I think he's got sticky fingers. I don't trust him. A guy that'll burn down a house will do a lot. Arson is a lot. Look on the scale of mental issues and crimes, and arson is, it's not good. It's definitely not good. Okay, so anyway, so he just grabs a trash can from the side of the house and starts to clean it up. All right. Oh God, back to Coltee and Deb. The only couple from 90 Day Fiance, Happily Ever After, possibly from the whole franchise, that I believe are really going to stay together till death do them part. Coltee and Deb will never be parted. They will always, always be as one. So he calls Jess and tells her, I told my mom about you. And she's like, oh, okay, well, that's good. And then he goes, and she's coming to Brazil because she wants to meet you. And Jess is like, what? I mean, I guess she ends up kind of being like, okay, I guess. But of course she's not happy. It's weird. Weird. For the first time he's coming down to meet her family to bring his mom. And also because, again, they've been together such a short time and this is such a shallow, fake relationship. The whole thing just doesn't seem very deep at all. It just seems very, very fake. It seems very made for TV. So she goes through a big deal of saying, my dad has to like you, so it's very important that my father likes you. If he doesn't like you, I'm not going to stay with you, as if she's going to stay with him anyway. And then Colt is like, well, I'm going to ask his permission to date you. Oh, so when you tell him that you want permission to date his daughter, are you going to say, well, I already tagged her a bunch of times in Chicago, so now I'd like your permission to date her. It's so stupid. Stupid, stupid, stupid. Idiotic. Okay, yeah, we get it. Jess and Coltee, you're both so conservative-y. She's very Catholic-y, very conservative-y. I love this, like, such hypocrisy. All right, Elizabeth and Andrei are packing. Blah, 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 blah. Fast forward. Okay, and they are going to Moldova. They're getting on the plane to Moldova, where please let Andrei have ties to the mob. We need something interesting on this Happily Ever After. And I mean more than just the two families bickering, which I'm sure will happen. But no, we need to find out that he fled Moldova because he had ties to the mob. That would be great. I don't want anything to happen to him. I mean, I don't want, that little baby's cute as a button. So I don't want, anyone to die. I want him to have to flee the country again and then get safely back to Tampa. But those countries are just, when it comes to the mob, once you get involved with them, they know you're there when you come back. So we'll see. Maybe I'm just being hopeful. I don't know. Okay, so as I said, Larissa now goes full Betty Broderick. If you don't know who Betty Broderick is, take a quick look through not IMDb, actually IMDb too, because there's been a lot of movies made from her, for her, about her. and look at Wikipedia and watch Dirty John. I forget which channel that's on, but there have been 2 seasons of Dirty John. They're about different cases every time, but they're about cases that involve a very controlling, manipulative man who drives someone to do something horrible. You could make the case that there's no excuse for murdering anyone no matter what, but in both cases, someone is driven to do something very violent because this man, a man, is so incredibly manipulative and basically so evil. So, but the Betty Broderick one is, whew, and it stars an actor who was absolutely such a jerk to me one time when his daughter and my son went to the same sailing camp in Miami, and so I can't stand him. So it was especially fun watching him be the horrible husband. He's a good actor. He is a good actor. I will give that to him. But he didn't work for like 10 years because, I'm not saying his name, even though you can figure it out. He didn't work for like 10 years because everyone hates him. He's so hard to get along with, and he has such a huge ego. He thinks he's amazing. He's just a jerk. Just one of those complete a-holes who just sits there behind his shades sucking on his vape all the time. I don't like him. But he's an amazing actor, and you should watch Dirty John, and you should watch the second season, which is on now, finishing now, Dirty John, the Betty Broderick story. It's juicy. Oh, it's good. You'll get into it. You want to see a woman driven to go mad? It may or may not be the truth. They may have taken her side in the story, and it may have been the actual truth. But the way it's told, if you look at it as a piece of fiction, you want to see a man driving a woman crazy, watch it. It's so good. There's only like, I think, 1 episode left. All right. So Larissa calls Jess, and she's like, oh God, obsessed much? You know, she's looking at pictures of them, and then she goes on social media and she contacts Jess. Jess gives her her phone number. Stupid. Why would you do that? So she calls her because she wants to warn her. She wants to warn her. She wants to tell her that Coltee is a demon and Debbie is a wolfie. She's a wolfie. Well, she's right. I don't know if Coltee is cool enough to be a demon, but Deb is definitely a wolfie. She's scary. I like the way that Larissa describes Colt as a geek player. That's perfect. He's someone who is a geek who women would never look at twice, but he's got this clout because he has a TV show that, you know, depending on which of the ones it is, whether it's 90 Day Fiance or whether it's the other way or whether it's Happily Ever After, they get between 2 and 3 million viewers per episode. That's a lot of clout. So there's a whole lot of women who would like to be a piece of that, who want to be Insta famous. Let's face it, that's the culture we live in. And then I also loved it when she said, you know, he's like a whale. He's like a cute whale, which is perfect because he is like a whale that you think you want to go up and, oh, you know, but then the whale will like try and drown you or kill you or something. I don't know. But the whale description was definitely perfect. Okay, Angela and JoJo are going to pick out a tux for Michael for the wedding in Nigeria. You know, this stupid scene, because you can't just pick up a tux without someone trying it on, and they just happen to have shoes that are size 15 wide. The whole thing is staged for the camera. Yeah, you heard me right. Michael's feet are 15 wide. Do you know how enormous that is? Okay, the whole thing is to introduce us to this random friend who just shows up, JoJo. And I'm just going to cut this short because basically Skyla's not going to go to Nigeria. Angela has to have an American there to witness the wedding for it to be legal in Nigeria. Although I don't know why that matters to her because she doesn't want to live in Nigeria anyway. But I guess if she wants to try for the spousal visa, I guess it has to be legal in the country that you're married in. So JoJo's like, I'm going to come. Yeah, and that means that you're going to get a free trip to Nigeria because 90 Day Fiance TLC is going to pay for it. And she probably thinks, ooh, I'm going to Africa. She doesn't realize she's not going to, like, the Serengeti where she's going to see elephants and lion cubs. She's going to Nigeria, which is not, it's different. It's not the Africa of your dreams, let's put it that way. I'm sure there are nice parts, but it's not the Africa of your dreams. Okay. And then, so apparently JoJo's like, oh, she's like a sister to me. She's so important in my life. She's so important in my life. Angela, you've been on 90 Day Fiance for a while. But we never heard about JoJo. She never showed up before. I call BS. Anyway, she's going to go. So, yeah, she's going to go to Nigeria. She's going to be the witness. All right. Okay. The entire car ride to California, Asuelu continues to be verbally abusive to Kalani. Kalani is dealing with her baby of a husband who's being verbally abusive, her children who both have colds, who are both sick, who need a lot of attention, and she's sick. You can really hear it in her voice now. She's really sick. She's got the cold from the kids. They get to the Airbnb finally, and Asuelu helps with nothing. He doesn't help with the luggage. He doesn't help with the kids. He does nothing. He just walks right in the house, gets a cold bottle of water, goes out in the backyard, picks some unripe oranges, which there's nothing worse than an unripe California navel orange. Ugh, I don't even like California navel oranges anyway, but I'm from Florida now, so we have better oranges in Florida. But anyway, and he's sitting there and he's peeling the orange saying, oh, he's just whiny and he's self-piteous, and you know, he puts down everything Kalani does, and he's just, She comes out and she tries to talk to him. She wants to try and salvage the trip. She's not like allowing him to walk all over her. She's speaking strongly to him. But, you know, on the other hand, yeah, she does want to try and see if she can calm him down and get him to kind of get with the program. And he says, you know, you're really a manipulator. And he says, oh, why you use expensive words like that? Why you don't use simple words? And I can't help thinking, how about dickhead? That's only 2 syllables, and that's more appropriate than manipulator in my book. So anyway, he starts packing. He's like, where's my phone? Where's my suitcase? He starts packing, and he just books it. He just takes off through the front door, and Oliver runs after him. Fortunately, Kalani stops Oliver before Oliver runs from the parking lot out into the actual street, which looks sort of busy. Thank God. And again, I call BS. There happens to be a bus sitting there waiting for kind of a long time. And Asuelu's like, I'm going to get on this bus and I'm going to go. And they're like, where are you? The crew goes, where are you going to go? And he's like, I don't know. Are you going to go back to Utah? Yeah, maybe. And so he hands them back the mic and gets on this bus that happens to be waiting with nobody on it. Listen, in suburban California, people don't take buses. They do in LA in the cities, but they don't so much take buses in suburban areas. People drive cars. So if you take a bus in an area like that, like in Orange County, you're going to wait 20 minutes between buses. The chance of there being a bus sitting right there across the street that's going someplace that he wants to go is like nil. So that was very staged for TV. But anyway, it just proves that he's trying to just flee like a baby. And yeah, great dad. Great dad. Okay, I have to say, Angela is packing for her trip, and the 6 grandkids are all around her, and like I said, there's just like this beautiful, well-behaved, well-spoken, this sweet little multi-ethnic tribe of kids that are just so... She's done a great job with them. She really has. I mean, I think she's probably really the strong figure of the house, kind of like the mom and the dad. I know Skyla's there too, but she's done a great job on those kids. They're really quite charming. We need to see more of Angela's kids. A lot of kids in this show, not so much, but Angela's kids, oh my God, they're so sweet. And they're so cute the way they're watching her. They're so excited for her getting married to Pop Michael. And she tries on her dress for them, and she has a little crown, a little tiara under her veil, and she has a little kind of like it looks like almost like a Halloween costume shop, you know, a Party City crown that she has for Michael to wear. And You know, the dress is not a bad choice for her. It'll probably look nice. Hopefully she'll have a good bra, like one of the ones Molly makes. And I think that I think they'll look nice at their wedding. And maybe even if he can never come to America and she has no desire to live in Nigeria, maybe that's just her dream to marry this man and have this ceremony in Nigeria. I don't know. But anyway, I can't just laugh at her at this point, because there is something kind of sweet about it. And I never thought I'd say that about Angela. Never. I couldn't stand her. And yeah, part of it was comparing her to baby girl Lisa, but there's also like we're seeing a softer side of her now, I think. She probably decided, oh God, I don't want to be baby girl Lisa, who was banned from the show and everyone hates. So yeah, I have a soft spot now for Angela. Okay. Elizabeth and Andrei arrive in Moldova, and Andrei's father and his brother are there at the airport. The father we met before. He's adorable. He's got eyes that smile. He's got those really kind, lovely eyes that are always smiling. Very sweet. Looks like a lovely man. At one point when he's bringing his little family to introduce to his family, when he's introducing Elizabeth and Eleanor, and you can tell he's really proud of them, he has this big smile. Andrei has this big smile for the first time. I think I've never seen him smile like that in this show, and he becomes a different person. He looks like a completely different person. He looks very handsome. He is a handsome guy, but he looks even more handsome, and he has a lovely smile. It's nice to see for a change. Then he kind of goes right back into being a jerk again, but still, it's nice for a moment to see that softer side. They live in one of those typical Soviet-style apartment blocks, the kind of unpainted gray cinder block with the very basic inside, kind of bleak hallways, but the apartment looks like it's a nice size and is nice inside. Andrei asks his brother and the brother's wife to be godparents. Now, godparents in Moldavian Orthodox Church means that you are best man and maid of honor at the wedding, and then you would also be like the equivalent of our Western godparents for the baby's baptism. So in other words, this couple is kind of like, they vouch for the couple, and they say that they're going to do everything they can to uphold this marriage and whatever family comes from it. So it's a very serious position. My godparents, I only maybe saw them a few times in my life. They lived out east, and I lived in California and they lived in Connecticut, so I only saw them a few times. They were very nice people, but it's not like they were presiding over how it was going to be raised. And it's very different in Moldova, so I thought that was interesting. He tells Elizabeth she has to be baptized because she is American Baptist, and she has to be baptized as Moldovan Orthodox in order to be married in the church, which is the case with a lot of those traditional religions. It doesn't mean that she has to continue following that faith forever. They can decide how they want to raise Eleanor. So she acts a little bit surprised, like why he didn't tell her before. And again, this kind of seems suspicious. I think he would tell her before. Why would he wait? Because it's kind of important. But anyway, it'll probably be really beautiful. She'll learn a little bit about the religion, and I'm sure the rituals, the baptism and the marriage, oh my gosh, it's beautiful. I'm sure it'll be, those Orthodox weddings are beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so I'm sure she's just gonna go with it. All right, then she goes to bed, and Andrei goes into the kitchen table and proceeds to talk-ish about Elizabeth's family, basically telling his family, oh, you're not going to like them. They're chauvinist Americans. They think America's the best. They're closed-minded. Great. So before the two families even meet, let's go ahead and poison your family and tell them that you can't stand Elizabeth's family. So yeah, there's going to be drama. You know there's going to be drama. Okay. Now back to the only couple that we know has real staying power, that are going to be together no matter what, that God put together, and that's Coltee and Deb. Deb is making steak. I get the feeling that she only knows how to make steak and maybe like meatloaf or things like that. Pork chops, and I think her only seasoning is probably like, she's the kind of woman that to her seasoning up a steak means salt and pepper and maybe you put ketchup or A1 on it when it comes to the table. I don't know. But anyway, she makes steaks. Because Coltee's friend Vanessa is coming over. We already have heard about Vanessa. Vanessa, Coltee tells us, is someone who is his best friend. He really likes her, very close to her. They talk about everything, and then we get to hear him say again, we had sex. We had sex through those little tiny narrow lips. But apparently he still has a huge crush on her, but she didn't want to really have a relationship. She just wanted to be friends. So that's where they stand. Cannot tell if Vanessa is Latina or if she's maybe South Asian, like Indian, from India. Like her family's from India, but she's American. She's very American with an American accent. But I'm just curious to know where her family's from, because she's very exotic looking. And she's attractive. Anyway, and she's a reasonable age. She's like 35 or something like that. She's not a baby. Okay, so she is kind of questioning him about Jess. Vanessa is concerned about Jess. Is she money hungry? Is she asking him for money? Yes, but it doesn't sound like he's given her much. It sounds like he's bought her some presents. He's bought her some clothes. He thinks he's given her like a total of $1,000 worth of stuff and money. And then he bought half of her ticket to Brazil, which I don't think is that big of a deal. I mean, yeah, you could say, well, she is asking for money, but she's working as an au pair. You don't make anything. You get room and board, and you get a chance to practice the language, and they give you a tiny bit of pocket money. So she was probably happy to have a little bit of extra. I don't think there's anything so terrible about that. It's not like she asked him to buy her a car. All right, now we're not going to discuss Angela's biopsy because I'm just going to wait till we get the results, because we don't need to go through her getting the biopsy to find out whether or not she has cancer. She went through it. We'll get and I'm sure next episode we'll find out what the results are, and I will share those with you if you don't already know. And we close with a kind of a real cliffhanger, because there is a serious chance that Larissa could be deported at any time because she has this criminal record. And because no one's vouching for her, because she has a lot of marks against her by Colt, and she doesn't know what he can do or what he could say, or if he could bring in more sort of charges or testimony against her. Hopefully at this point not, but I wouldn't trust him. So she's called down to immigration. And when I say she's called down to immigration, she's called out to one of those facilities, which means it's a facility that has like offices, but also I think holding cells. It's way out in the desert. It's not in Las Vegas. That's where these places usually are. They're like out of the city, out a ways, like where you would find a prison. I'm not saying it's a prison, but so the fact that she has her friend drive her there, and she says, please wait inside for me, come inside. And the friend is scared because she's like, I didn't know this was a big deal. And Larissa said, I might not be coming out. I mean, they might take me into custody then and send me back to Brazil. I don't know. It's true. That's not made up, and that's not fake drama. So she leaves her with the number of her lawyer and says, if they detain me, please call him. And so that's what we're left with. And we're actually left with legitimate drama for something that is, potentially pretty awful. So we will find out next time. Anyway, cheers to you. Thank you for joining me for another episode and another Let's Judge Together. Please kindly give me your likes, your comments, and I would love it. I would be honored if you would subscribe. That would be wonderful. And like I said, I'll be putting out 2 more videos shortly, and then I'll be actually caught up. So cheers to that. And I will see you very soon. I will be looking forward to spending more time together. And until then, be safe, and come and visit me again in a few days. Thanks.